Now, most of you like labeling it a boring race.
But it is.
And guys have always been vocal on how I don't think it should be in the F1 calendar anymore. They should replace it with a proper circuit and this and that and this and that. And there's always a back and forth when it comes to Monaco. It's never clear it's a good track. It's never clear it's a bad track. Guys are always opinionated on it. Yeah. Now, I always beg to differ. I always say, listen, I think this track is symbolic in its own way. I think we still need it in the calendar. Not because of these small things. Okay, won't you call them small things, but the challenge it presents in itself as a track and the history it carries, it just gives it some extra significance to the calendar. We can't have all tracks at the park or at a proper racetrack because, again, this is the Formula One World Championship. Yeah, I mean, you need to have a variation of obstacles for it to even mean anything when you say World Championship. It's not always about the glitz and the glam with Monaco. I mean, the circuit itself presents unique challenges. The whole, brushing walls as you make turns and, going at 200 kilometers per hour.
How is it to quali?
That's a difficult track.
Huh?
It's on the sim, it's my worst track.
Like,
To be honest, I think I spent 2 weeks like putting in at least 2 hours every day to at least get to 1 minute 12 seconds, 31 milliseconds. 2 weeks, and I got that on the last day. It's
So which section is hardest?
it's the entire track.
The entire track?
Yes. It's bumpy as hell, first of all.
don't you think that whole set of challenges and uniqueness to that track, don't you think that's really still important in the sport?
Yes, it is. Okay. So if you remove the glitz and the glamour and the
Yeah.
emotions and whatever that comes
And the
with
history
Monaco,
and the heritage.
it doesn't provide quality racing. But it does provide a challenge to the drivers. Because remember, they're doing 70, how many
70,
laps?
yeah,
73,
70.
Something
I
there.
think it was 78. I
But
don't remember.
less than 300 kilometers.
Yes. It's a challenge to the drivers because you have to be attentive, like from lights out to the checkered flag. You can't snooze. If you snooze, you're into the wall. To the drivers, yes. But to us as fans, does it provide any quality racing?
Okay. This brings us. This takes us back. This takes us back to that argument we had with you at one point in time. What is racing and what is entertainment and all this? It's all part of one big conversation. Yeah. Personally, I will say I also enjoy watching a proper skilled person doing the skill. Does it make sense? I enjoy properly watching. Like, you remember the hot lap Max Verstappen had a few years back.
Yeah.
Before things got. towards the end.
Even Charles quali lap.
Yeah,
was
I'm saying,
something-
like, watching these drivers carve out a masterpiece by the way they drive around that track and do something that I don't say it's impossible, but do something amazing with with the machines they have. I mean, that's a thrill in itself to see. It's not always about the overtakes most of the time.
Qualifying is thrilling, and I'll put this out there. Qualifying
Yes.
sessions at Monaco are better than the race itself.
Yes.
Now,
Actually,
using your argument, qualifying is more entertaining to you than the race itself.
To some degree,
Because
yeah.
qualifying is where you actually see these people, as in forget about fear,
Yeah,
and they drive that car to the limits.
yeah.
Come race day, they're like, I'm not going to risk it because I need to keep track position.
Monaco is one of those tracks where qualifying matters a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Matters a lot. And but what I'm saying is, personally, my bottom line on this whole Monaco situation, I personally think it should be retained because this is where you chaff out the proper drivers from the guys who are guessing. I'm not.
If everyone drives slow,
not.
that argument
It's
doesn't
not an
hold
out and out litmus test. I'm just saying this is where you actually know. Because remember, we have very, very many variations of litmus tests. I once said this, I think last year or 2 years ago. I said, when Vettel was still at Aston Martin, these guys were doing a promo shoot or whatever with an old DB7 or something. And they were told, hey, can you do some burnouts for us? Can you guys drift the car a bit for us for the money shot and all that? And I remember Lance Stroll was the first one to get into the machine. And, didn't work out. He tried something and
Which car?
DB7, Aston Martin.
The older one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it didn't work out. And Vettel got there and with the experience of a Formula One world champion 4 times, got there, drifted the whole thing, did some donuts.
Nah,
in the
you're
car.
just looking for a way to bring Vettel into this.
No,
conversation.
okay, yeah, yes. But I'm also trying to back up my whole statement of trying to chaff out people. Like, this is also one way to kind of know, is this driver really like that? Is he really that good?
Okay. All drivers in Formula One, I know they say, oh, they're the best in the world. Some people would argue differently if you're bringing other disciplines of motorsport. Yeah. But there's this quote. I don't know who said it. I don't know if you guys have heard it before. Every race driver, they want to win a race driving on the slowest pace possible.
In Formula One.
Yes.
I'm hearing it here for the first time.
Yeah.
You haven't had it? Me, I've had it before.
You've also had, for you to finish first you have to
Finish.
finish.
I've had
You had
that.
that before.
Yeah, I've had that.
It's the same thing. As in, all these drivers, they don't want to push to the limit unless they're pushed to the limit. So if you look at a driver as in come race, like let's say the Monaco GP, all of them were not pushing at all, to be honest.
Yeah. They were preventing, is it undercuts?
Yeah, they're preventing, plus also the red flag just like put everyone on the same strategy.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
in, you've changed your tires, now
Just
just
go
manage
to
your
the
tires all
end.
the way to the end.
Yeah.
For us as fans, there's nothing spectacular about it. But for a driver, seeing a driver like taking a medium tire all the way to the end, and as in, that's spectacular to them.
Russell.
Yes, George, as in being attentive, that's spectacular. But for us as fans, that's not entertaining at all.
You see, Russell was also going slow so that he doesn't chew his tires and knowing nobody's going to overtake him.
Yeah, there is that point to the argument. Okay, now a lot of things happened.
Let me add on the Monaco. So, in terms of like what you have just said there, I think Monaco provides one of the best qualifying session in the calendar. Okay, but when you are talking about what contributes to entertainment and everything, and you are saying seeing a driver do what he does, I also don't forget defending. It's also a skill that I would also want to watch. But the track doesn't allow somebody to show his defensive skill.
Yeah,
But okay,
and also offensive, as in like
Okay.
you're attacking. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
I really don't want to use. I really don't use this analogy. But if you guys watch, say, football, that's another sport. Yeah. Now in football, there are times whereby this game is not going to be entertaining at all because of certain conditions and all that. I tend to kind of, be on the side whereby I don't expect every race to be the same. I don't expect the same setup of events every race I go to. I expect to see something different. And yeah, if the race is boring, I understand why it's boring. I'm not saying it's not boring. It is to some degree. But I don't want it removed from the calendar. That's my whole point. It's
Again,
not about
we are not saying that Monaco should be removed. Of course, they can do different things. I think Hamilton suggested if maybe they can like have a Monaco special tire that forces people to pit. Someone also said if there has to be like a special rule for Monaco. People have to do like 3 pit stops. Because first of all, we all agree Monaco, it's near impossible to overtake with these modern F1 cars.
They are wide.
Yeah?
It's harder.
So the other thing that they can do to at least gain positions is strategy. Trying to undercut people, maybe trying to overcut people. Like, yeah, this weekend, yes, a few people started on the hards and they were hoping to overcut some people or maybe gain track position. Then the red flag came out and did everything.
Is it K-Mag?
the guys who started on
Is
the
it
hards
K-Mag
were
or-
actually shafted.
Yeah.
Or Piastri.
Who
The guy-
started on?
The red flag.
The red flag. The red flag was because of K-Mag, Hulkenberg, and Perez.
Oh,
The Perez crash.
Sainz was able to
he's okay, yeah?
go to the pits. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hoping he's okay.
Yeah.
Who?
So
Perez.
it's
He is.
so the question I wanted to ask you is: did you watch the Formula 2 race?
Yeah, not the whole race. I actually I watched a few highlights on it.
Okay, if you compare, go compare the Formula 2 highlights and the Formula 1 highlights at Monaco. The Formula 2 race was better than Formula 1.
Sorry,
because it had
sorry for
overtakes.
digressing, but now that you mentioned
Why
Formula 2,
is it because they are thinner or the pitting? There were many pit stops.
So Monaco, we say 2 things. Overtaking already is difficult.
Mhm.
So it's only pit stops and strategies where you can play the game.
Okay.
So F2 had a few overtakes, but strategy really came into play. And even how the race ended, the winner, I think he's called Zach Sullivan. I think that's
Zach
his name.
Sullivan.
Yes. That guy, he started the race P14.
What?
Yes, the guy decided I'm not pitting.
Oh, I heard that. He pitted on the last lap.
Somewhere close to the end of the race. And if you ever listen to how people say luck comes or plays a part into people winning, especially people who you don't expect them to win and they end up winning, it's mostly because of luck. So this guy decided I'm not pitting. They decided let's go long, let's hope for either a virtual safety car or a safety car somewhere there to happen. And it happened that when there's a yellow flag, when he was just entering into the pits, a virtual safety car came out. So he had a cheap pit stop.
No, that's
From P14 to P1. And this guy was not competitive at all. So that's how he ended up winning Formula 2 race.
On that safety car note, the reason why it came out, that's the digression I wanted to make
that's like winning a jackpot.
Yeah.
Before you threw me, of course. There was an incident whereby somebody was slowing down on track and somebody else was actually on a lap. And I
In
remember...
F2.
Yeah, in F2.
Yeah, I saw the clip on the tunnel.
Yeah, in the tunnel. And there was some impressive driving there. Yeah, there was some impressive driving.
That is reflex.
Yeah,
you know
that is reflex. Yeah, that is reflex.
What I mean is, you don't think I will do this.
Yeah.
You just find yourself having done it.
Yeah. I remember from long drivers practice reflex whatever actions.
So you usually see those two games with G tennis balls.
That's a
They're
Gasly
hitting
Yeah,
lights.
Yeah. Now, from the Kevin Magnussen situation and the crash, Kevin Magnussen had 10 penalty points on his super license. And
How many more remaining?
Two more.
2 more.
Yeah, 2 more.
And how many races remaining? Is it up to end of the year or when? Okay, I don't know. Sometimes I think they're usually very different depending on when you started accumulating them, Ama.
Yeah, I've never mastered how they do that.
But I know
it's not the entire year. As in, you just keep on accumulating, then also some points keep on expiring.
Yes.
Okay, where do you think we should draw the line between bravery and just being outrightly in the wrong?
In that K-Mag situation?
It's not about the K-Mag situation because this is not the first time K-Mag is actually being...
I've never found K-Mag
throwing caution
on the
to
wrong.
the wind, if I will call it that.
I've never found K-Mag on the wrong.
I mean, listen, you don't accumulate 10 penalty points for nothing.
Nah, but he's FIA / the stewards have also been a bit unfair. Because remember, each time he's defending, like he's holding the door, preventing other people from, let's say, maybe like attacking Nico or something from that, just for that 1 point. Zach Brown and all the other cronies. Is it Zach Brown? No, there was someone who was complaining. This came out dangerous driving. Akina Stella. You need to be well. And then what happens? K-Mag is given like a penalty. He hasn't caused any crash, any collision. But just because he was like holding the fort, yeah, so that Nico can build that gap either to get like a free pit stop.
I think we had the same happening this weekend during quali. Who was it? Was it Ocon or Gasly? I think it was Ocon.
Who did that?
Ocon. I think K-Mag, they were passing. I think, was he qualifying? And K-Mag was still on track and he was like, obstruction. We had a similar situation.
Even Carlos and again.
Speaking of unfair situations, we were talking about the municipality, or Monaco rather. And one of the most unfairly treated guys in Formula 1 in the name of Kapoor Singh.
What?
Yeah.
It's not Checo?
Who treated him?
He actually
has to be the
he actually
Mexican.
got away with murder this time round because
It's Checo is...
Nah, don't bring Checo into this.
No, it's
Mexicans usually have a hard time in Europe and in America.
How do the stewards look before they give you a penalty? We say it for Mexico. I won't use that. I won't use that joke. But you know the Family Guy joke.
Even the security of Trump, I'm sure it's because he was Mexican. Tried to stop him.
He needs to go. I won't use that joke.
But it's Checo. As in...
No, Kapoor Singh, the no. Come on.
Kapoor Singh and Checo, when they stand here, they are almost the same. Almost.
No,
so
that's
stigma
for the
is
listeners and the viewers, Kapoor Singh is Carlos Sainz.
Wait, how can you say it's Carlos and qualifying?
Carlos.
Wait, qualifying. Carlos, who did he impede? I think it was Nico. Either Nico, it was one of the Hasses. And It was under investigation.
Was it in Monaco or in
Monaco.
or
This
Imola?
Monaco.
Okay.
Yes. We were expecting to see Carlos getting a penalty. No, 0 penalty. Checo has done the same thing. I won't forget this. Hulkenberg, the slowest corner, Australia. And that's the slowest fucking corner. Checo got a penalty.
I'm going to put it like this.
hard
Remembering
being a
what
Mexican.
happened to Carlos, was it Silverstone 22, and also last year Vegas, and has he had a proper situation this year? I don't think he's had a proper situation this year. Carlos Sainz, the situations.
It's Australia last year.
Listen, I'm saying this race, he actually got away with something. He finally
Twice.
He said, "Hey, I'm living here with something." You know that Denzel clip?
Yeah.
I'm living here. He actually left the GP with something, and him being on Lady Luck's correct side that day.
Like twice, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, him being on Lady Luck's correct side that day actually gave Ferrari the whole points they had, because listen, if the race went the way it was supposed to go, if the race went the way it's supposed to go, I don't think Charles would have won. And I also don't think we would have howled the points we howled, because he had gotten off with a puncher. So
And also he got away with impeding. Okay, I won't let that go. Wait. We're still on the stewards being consistently inconsistent, if I can put it that way.
I have had my fair share with the stewards.
Now remember lap 1, Monaco. We had 2 incidences. We had K-Mag, Nico, Checo, and you had Albon and Ocon. Sorry, Gasly and Ocon.
Yes. And also Sainz and Piastri.
Yes, and also Sainz and Piastri. But at least for Sainz and Piastri, we'd say no one caused a collision there.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Hey,
Yes,
puncher.
there was damage. Yes, there was damage, but no one forced hit the other guy. Yeah?
Not outrightly.
Yes. Please tell me, why do we see on the screen stewards investigating K-Mag, Nico, Perez collision? Stewards investigating Gasly, Ocon collision. A few minutes later, we see on the screen again. I can't remember the exact words. But the Nico, K-Mag, and Perez collision, they are done investigating, and that was it. I think it was just declared like a racing incident.
Yeah.
No one got a penalty or anything. Then a few minutes later, we are seeing Ocon is being penalized. And the next race is going to drop, I think it's 5 places. And we're both talking about incidences that happened on lap 1. Is this really consistent? Like, they're both collisions. One, you're penalizing one. The other, you're not penalizing. Again, K-Mag and Checo, the stewards are just like, no, we don't care.
Okay, I mean,
I don't know if
you could mount
Please,
up
make it make sense.
You could
I don't
mount
know.
up an impressive case on
I
this
don't know if you
occasion.
have ever been a prefect, but there is always, when the teacher comes ask for a list of makers and you haven't written,
No,
there's always
know you
those
are.
guys, they have to make.
I know.
I know Checo and K-Mag are making
you write
noise
them
and
very
report to the
quickly.
deputy's office.
Checo
Listen,
has to be on the wrong side.
But please, make it make sense. Make it make sense.
I won't talk about the stewards, because I've had my fair share.
No, I'm asking you for your own opinion.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I won't really give an outright statement on the steward situation, because listen, I've had my fair share of steward issues and all that. There are times I call them a melon of the week. Haven't you heard that before? I've been like, who's the melon of the week? And I'm like, the stewards for me. The inconsistencies, hey, listen, I agree with you on that, but I won't discuss that. Hey, Carlos got away with murder, so I'm cool.
No,
And
bro, we are done with the Carlos.
Yeah.
But the inconsistencies there, I don't know. And on the Ocon situation, he's actually dropping you. How many places are you saying he's supposed to drop on
I
there?
think it's 5.
And
5 or- I think it's
Alpine
5,
actually looking into it, and they're like, we should actually drop him. They're thinking of dropping him the next race.
What do you mean by dropping? Like he's not participating.
This is actually breaking news now. I'm giving you
Canada.
breaking news. Yeah, the Alpine guys are actually kind of not looking, they're actually tolerating the possibility of dropping him. So I think Ocon's time at Alpine is also up.
Yeah, I heard somewhere that the team principal at Alpine, I think it's called Bruno Famin. The guy said in French, there'll be consequences.
Hey,
because that was unwarranted. And even Gasly came out and said, you know what? Even before the race, this is something we discussed.
Yeah, I had the interview.
Yeah. And remember, this is not the number one rule in Formula One. Don't take your teammate out. Don't.
And it's not the first time they are having these incidences.
Listen, even when Gasly came into Alpine, we already knew they had pre-existing issues, if I can call them that.
Someone took someone's girlfriend.
I think
you
we
didn't hear
this here.
You've been persistent with this story. This narrative, you've been very persistent with it. Umesema you are going with it. Hata wakuitie KGB, hauachili your narrative. This narrative you're going to
all these things are caused by a woman.
On your eulogy, at the footnote, utakuwa na... And by the way, he knows. He knows. Somebody took somebody's girlfriend.
Speaking of girlfriends,
Yeah.
do you know they actually showed during the race? The
race was so boring.
They showed more.
They had to show
more shots of people's girlfriends
and the
than
race.
actually overtaking on the race. God
Listen,
damn, this was a boring race, man.
Okay. Now,
And Charles Leclerc girlfriend leading the pack.
speaking of Charles Leclerc's girlfriend, not the girlfriend, I mean, his family, the Leclerc family. We saw Piastri was given some Formula One humor pale Twitter and social media.
Joining
the Leclerc family. When Piastri was actually shining in the qualies and all that, they called him Oscar Piastri Leclerc, and it was funny to see and all that.
Wait, was that official?
Yeah, it was the official F1 guys. Was it FP2 or
No,
FP3?
it's the joke started with the drivers.
I know the jokes
on social media.
But did it appear in FIA documentation?
No,
not documentation, but just a screen.
Or just on Twitter?
It's like the way drivers make fun of each other and but come Austria, I think he is going to move to Max. He's going to be adopted by Max.
Now we'll see. That remains to be seen. Now, with that,
or it could be he is moving to Monaco.
Keeping up with the Piastris.
With that, we could let's see. A quick Formula 2 update. Now, Formula 2 also happened this weekend, and
it was more interesting than Formula 1.
Yeah, a lot of things happened there, but your winners were Zach O'Sullivan, Hadja came in second, and Paul Aaron came in third. We also keeping tabs on that. Our boy, jamaa wetu lazima tuangalie marks zake. Kimi Antonelli, lazima tuangalie marks.
You are watching to hate.
No, alinyongwa. we are watching to keep up, as in keep progress.
They say this guy was the truth.
Yeah.
And he's still number one rumored to replace Hamilton, even at the moment.
He's good.
Have you noticed how this guy, team principal, Mercedes, Toto. Have you noticed how Toto has actually changed his tone on Kimi in the past few months? He's been changing tone. Listen, at the beginning of the year, the whole Mercedes camp and everything Mercedes related was Kimi is the truth. Kimi is the next guy.
A salty bunch, those ones.
Listen,
salty.
Right now, I remember I had an interview where Toto was asked on Kimi's progress, and he was like, listen, it's too early to even think of considering him into putting him in our F1 car next year. So we'll see how things go.
But they'll still do it.
Hey, listen, anything can happen. We saw Toto and Seb laughing a lot at Imola.
Seb is not coming.
You never know.
I told you, Seb.
You told me to let it go.
Seb is out here selling an energy drink.
You told me to let it go.
Just let it go.
I'm not letting it go.
If you see Seb on the paddock, I don't know, the beekeeper, he's here out selling energy drinks.
The same way you're not letting go of the Ocon Gasly situation.
I don't want to talk about Seb regarding those things. Because me, I look at what Seb is doing and I'm like, hey, this guy. Like,
what?
Okay, so he's doing what he's doing, like, from my eyes, is he has his own personal interests. It's just that he's using the Formula 1 platform to push whatever
I will not tolerate Seb's
No,
interests.
but it's the truth.
But if it was me, I would have done the same. So I can't fault him. He is
he's
playing
not-
with
he's
the
not-
cards he has.
He's playing with the cards is dealt.
Yes.
Anyway, driver team of the day, Monaco. Let's just keep
You
it
go
brief.
first. No, you go first.
Let's keep it brief. Driver of the day, definitely.
The liar.
Lord Percival himself.
Mwongo.
Hey, come on, why are you guys
I think
cutting
for,
me?
wait. For this episode, we should be driver of qualifying. But because Racing, there was
Yeah, nothing happened during the race.
Not
Some people are calling it a
it's
parade.
drive of qualifying.
The race was just a parade.
Qualifying driver.
Not happening.
Qualifying driver.
Not happening. But if you want to give it to your qualifier, cool. My driver of the day
Tsunoda.
was
Of the weekend.
Tsunoda.
was Charles Leclerc for a few reasons, basically. Just because I wouldn't give it to him if it wasn't his first win in Monaco. You get it? Because I had some guys impressing me too. I had this guy, Lance Stroll, looked impressive to me. He had some proper overtakes at the uko nyuma. And there's this other guy. I'm forgetting him.
Yuki.
Not Yuki. There's this other guy.
Gasly?
No. Oh, Gasly was also impressive. I mean, he got to Q3. Yeah, he got to Q3.
Yuki was also impressive, man.
These guys were impressive, but I'll give it to Charles Leclerc because of what happened. Now, team of the day, I'll have to give it to. I don't want to give it to McLaren, but they still are team of the day.
Why?
They've been team of the day for 2 weeks now. Their pace is blistering. Like
how are they team of the day, man?
I mean, listen, a decent haul of points, back-to-back decent haul of points. This is a decent haul of points. But I'm not exclusively giving it to them. I'm just saying they impressed me personally. I will give it to also Ferrari to some degree. But Mercedes could make a case for themselves. Who knows?
Mercedes scored an own goal, buana.
They could make a case somewhere.
As in, what was George doing?
Backing up people.
Yeah, okay. Strategically, yes, it makes sense. Everyone else was on the hard tire. He was on a medium tire.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make sense for him to use his tires.
Yeah, push, yeah.
Yeah. So it was making sense, yes, but what was Mercedes' plan with Hamilton? Did they want to shaft Max?
You're thinking of
As in,
hey. So you're telling me you would have gotten a better points, a better gap deficit this race week if Mercedes' plan of shafting Max would have gone through?
I think that, remember after the red flag, everyone had to think of a new strategy. And I think Mercedes' strategy was to see if they can get that position from Max using Hamilton. But remember when the race started, George started on the harder compound.
Yeah.
So George was already from the onset. He was I'm going to overcut people. And the Monaco track position is key. So, and also George came out during the post-race interview. He said, you know what, if we had just started on the hards and the race played out, the way it was supposed to play out without the red flag, Mercedes were looking at least a podium.
Hey, but they were fast during the qualies and all that. So, I mean, they were looking good. So, my melon of the day, I don't know. I don't know whether to give it to K-Mag. I don't know whether to give it to Ocon. It's between them two.
You can give them both.
It's between them two. You want to go?
So, me, I'm going to give the qualifier or driver of Saturday. And now, looking at ignoring the race, looking at qualifying, who the person who impressed me the most, I would say it's Yuki. Like Yuki getting his first Monaco points, I think that's a big deal for him. So, and getting to Q3. And I think the debate of Yuki and Ricardo, I think that is over now. I don't think we should bring that up again. But I was impressed with Yuki. And also I was impressed with Piastri. Like, even from Imola to Monaco, as we said before, like, he's a good qualifier. He's still showing that he's a good qualifier. So, big up to him. And he is my qualifier or my driver of Saturday.
Okay. Your team for Saturday?
Team for Saturday, I'll give it to McLaren. Because of Piastri and also Lando. At least Lando tried. He's not a good qualifier, but
I think the gap between Leclerc's pole and Piastri's P2, was it the pole and P2 situation? But I remember Piastri was so close to Leclerc at some point that they were only differentiated by like 100th of a second.
During the lap?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember.
Okay, so your melon of the day? Melon of the weekend? Or melon of the qualifying rather?
Of Saturday.
You better give it to that boy.
Who?
Checo. If you don't, you know you're hating.
No, okay.
You're not in a Red Bull and exiting in Q1.
Now, I'll give it to Checo because of Imola and Monaco. Those back to back, because now Yuki has appeared in Q3 more times than Checo.
Damn.
So he has to be the melon of Saturday.
What do you have to say about the unluckiest driver on the grid, according to you?
Sargent outqualified Checo. That it's different, man.
I remember when it was brought up, you had to look it up again.
Yeah,
you had to go back and look it
man.
up. I remember when it was brought up by a member of the community.
God damn it.
It's hard for a Mexican, but he's making it even harder for himself.
He's not making things any easier. Anyway, go. Driver, team, and melon of the day.
Team of the day, Charles. People usually say second time, third time is the charm. But he, right off the bat on Friday, Charles seemed like the guy who had everything in order. Yeah. FP1, yes, he wasn't topping the time charts, but FP2, FP3, and also quali, he was the guy to beat the entire weekend. And yeah, as much as in the race was boring, in my view, we didn't see anything spectacular from Charles and other drivers. But I think for him, the race was already done right from FP2 on Friday. As in me, I remember we were even asking predictions. It was just Charles who was just going to win this. Unless, I don't know, the cars was maybe something happened. Maybe that was going to take away the win from him. But from FP2, FP3, he was the guy to beat. You could hardly hear any crazy radio messages from Charles to the team. Like, yo, this guy is doing this. No. The guy was well poised. Also taking into account the number of times that him or Ferrari have dropped to the ball there. As in, you also get into that race with skepticism. Is this thing going to happen again? But he was well poised. And Friday, Saturday was the guy to beat. Sunday, of course, he was the guy who was going to win. So giving Charles my driver of the day, just because of he had his shit in order right from Friday. Team of the day, none, to be honest. Race day, I don't think any of them did anything spectacular.
Yeah.
Quali, I don't think even any of them did anything spectacular. So no team for me. For team of the day. Melon of the day, I'm giving it to K-Mag and also Ocon.
They decide between them two who wants it more.
Both of them, they get an equal share. Look under your seat, Ocon, K-Mag, you're getting melon of the day. Ocon, as in, come on, rule number one. Don't do something that will take out your teammate.
Hey.
Yeah. That move, as in opportunistic, but don't
It
force,
wasn't properly calculated.
Yeah, don't force your teamate into the wall. Or
Girls can make guys do crazy things.
yeah. Hata huyu kwa yolo hapo chini.
For footnote.
K-Mag has come and he said, it's not my fault. Checo pinned me to the wall. Like, come on, bro. Checo is looking forward. K-Mag, you can see Checo. Wait, I know you're going to say something else. K-Mag. There's something called the vortex of danger in racing. Either when you're taking a corner, there's a place where there's a certain angle or there's a certain zone, or maybe when you're overtaking. If you don't do something, your outcome is going to lead to either you crashing into something or, I don't know, the car behaving a certain type of way. In this situation, you can see Checo in front of you, and you see that your front tire is alongside to Checo's rear tire.
You're going into a wedge.
Yes, you're going into a wedge. And you're still, your foot is still on the gas. Like, what outcome are you expecting?
Probably he had other important things to do.
There was a movie scene I saw. I think I'll send it to you. It's involving I will not yield. That's a situation whereby you decide whether you're going to yield or not. He decided not to yield.
But again, yes, you decide you're not going to yield.
I'm not yielding.
But you are seeing there's a barrier here.
I mean, listen.
There's a guardrail here, and Checo is funny. By the way, the people who are saying that Checo was left room on the left side. That straight, your barabara up the hill sector 1, it's not a straight. It's weaving. And if you look at the racing line, Checo is actually on the racing line.
I mean, listen, there are many ways to look at the situation. All I'm going to say is, in that incident, none was, I don't want to say K-Mag was 100% on the wrong, or Checo was 100% on the right, or anything like that. I'm just going to say, both of them saw each other. I know both of them saw each other because I remember looking at the extensive replay Sky Sports. Listen, the extensive replay Sky Sports actually were trying to do. with Jensen. I think Jensen was the guy who was actually with the guy there. I remember they were trying to look at where Checo's head is looking at, what he's trying to look at, and you could see just before the contact, he actually looked on his right side mirror.
What is he supposed
to see if he can see or if there is anything going on his back right or his rear right end. And listen, if Checo saw this guy is also not yielding and decided to maintain his racing line instead of giving him room, we're not saying Checo needs to give him room. He doesn't have to. It was a situation whereby both parties were like, I'm not yielding, I'm sticking my course.
Quick question, if you're on the racing line, are you supposed to yield?
Not really. And I'm saying not really because I'm leaving room for that situation whereby you're still on the racing line, still like the Hamilton and Verstappen incident whereby racing lines were now being brought into the conversation and yielding. Racing line, it's not always about the racing line sometimes. Sometimes you have to look at the danger that things are posing and things like that. You get? So you kind of try and judge the situation better as a driver. Lose track position for maybe safety, situations like that. I think it's a situation whereby the drivers...
Jua mnyonge wako.
If K-Mag, quick question.
Situation.
If K-Mag decided to get his foot off the gas, Checo angegonga the barrier?
No. That's what I'm saying, though. I'm talking about the yielding and not yielding.
So no, okay. It's K-Mag is my boy. Even last episode I said by the guy, what do you expect K-Mag to do? He's my boy. But this incident, K-Mag 100% was on the wrong.
So this is the way I look at it now. And when K-Mag was asked about not this one, the ones he got, was it in Miami? He said that okay. And I agree with him. You see, in Formula One, the rules, how they administer the penalties and everything, and what is wrong or right when racing, is very pro the guy whose nose is ahead. Like, if your nose is ahead, or if your front tires are ahead, most of the time you will not be on the wrong side. The person will be on the wrong side. But if you look at the discipline of races, so long as there's a gap, even if it's a wedge, and I try to stick something, like, okay, it will be stupid going to the wedge and hitting the wall first. But sometimes, even if you watch Formula 1 older races, what usually happens is that the guy at the rear usually set the car in a way that the guy at the front will have to make a decision. Either I yield or I crash on this guy. Now, if you try to do that today, you'll be on the wrong. Like, if you're the guy behind, you try to, like, it's like set him to. Unaeka gari in a way that if you try to pass, you're going to crash. So that now, it's how the stewards do their thing, you'll be on the wrong. But if you look at other discipline of races, like IndyCar, even MotoGP, you'll find that, even Formula 1 Kitambo, you'll find that sometimes the guy at the back usually positions the car in a way that the guy in the front has to make a choice whether to crash or to yield. So that is what K-Mag said. So if FIA are going to decide how they are going to penalize me, I don't have a problem with that, so long as everybody knows it. So,
but in this point, was K-Mag really significantly along Checo?
the rear tire, Checo's rear tire and K-Mag's front tire, like on the same line.
Yes.
Yeah.
So will you say he was significantly, like, he put himself there to force Checo to yield?
Yes. I'm saying if we look at how they were like officiating Formula 1 Kitambo and other disciplines of motorsport, that K-Mag would not be on the wrong side.
Rear tire. Boss, you're talking about rear tire as in your rear axle and your front axle.
Yes. Bro, so long as that space, you're not occupying that space and I occupy it, and by me occupying it, you have to make a decision whether to crash or not. Go and watch like how they were doing it Kitambo, Akina Schumacher and everything. People are setting each other up. Like, I know you're going to turn. I'm going and I'll just make sure that I position my car in a way that, like, if you're going wide, I go shallow, so that when you come.
It's a tactical play now. It becomes a tactical play.
You're coming to meet me. I'm like, the only thing that I have to make sure is that I don't have to break myself. But what I'm trying to do is make sure I'm cutting you off on your racing line. other disciplines of motorsport they do that, but Formula One they don't do that.
It's frowned
But
upon.
when it comes to K-Mag, whether he was in the wrong, I will say yes, he's in the wrong because of how it's being officiated.
Okay, yeah, but I see where you're coming. I see your perspective. Your perspective is actually enlightening to some degree. But yeah, it is what it is at the end of the day. That incident happened and cost Red Bull a fortune, and also set them back a few points. But
But
You
he
know.
was fighting with Haas, bana.
yeah, and both houses got out
If
because
it
that one
was
incident.
Mercedes,
Listen,
he was doing it with the
that one
Checo
incident.
and Mercedes.
That one incident costed Haas a lot because in damages, number one, number two in points.
Jean is going to get.
Yeah, Gene is looking at that pay slip and he's like, he's looking at the bill.
He's
And it's
going to
like,
come
yeah.
off your salary.
And remember, Haas have actually been really impressive this year.
Yeah, but
Hulkenberg.
again, it's Monaco. If you start from the back, are they really going to get points?
No, but look at also in damages.
No, the damages of the car. Jean Haas has to spend more money.
Yeah,
Yeah. I agree.
they've missed a lot.
Yeah, and in this era, I think damages are part of the cost cap.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you also know Red Bull, a couple of millions of dollars.
Yeah. Anyway, that was it. Interesting episode, guys. I always appreciate having you guys here. It's always interesting when we discuss it at length. That was it from us, guys. Please follow us on socials. Follow us on X at the Pitboard Discussions. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel.
Yeah.
Like, share. If you want to be part of the conversation, you can request, and we'll add you to the group where we talk F1 non-stop. And yeah, please leave a like. Leave a comment down below. On Insta at the Pitboard Discussions. Basically on all forms of social media, except TikTok. For some reason we don't have a TikTok, but we'll work on that. So yeah, thanks for listening in. Have a good day.
Finya.